Wouldn't it be great to be gifted? In fact, it turns out that choices lead to habits. Habits become talents. Talents are labeled gifts. You're not born this way. You get this way. Seth Godin. My friends, each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes practicing with us. You want to become a market master? Follow these charts on a daily basis. We'll show you what we think, what we see, how to use the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, volume in the weekly trend line, and these three charts, the half day, the 2-day, and the weekly. Let's jump into things today. We see stocks are up. Gold is about flat, up a tiny bit. And we see bonds and Bitcoin down some. Let's jump first into the S&P 500, as we always do. By the way, of course, we release today for the general public, for everyone. We release charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. And, of course, Patreon members, we emailed to you yesterday. We always post at Patreon. Weekly vertical crossovers. We have 20 of those. All of them are down but one. We also released to you early charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies, and the three-wave trades, those liquid stocks with liquid options and liquid ETFs with liquid options that we curate for you once a week. What do we see going on? Well, check it out. We see the volume got up to average. Remember, red volume simply means that the starting candle price was lower than the prior closing price in the prior time period. This is on the weekly. Doesn't mean there's negative volume, but it does give you a clue as to what's happening. Now, look at this. We have a doji, lots of indecision. Isn't telling us the market's rotated over. We can see, though, that the candle did pierce our prior trend line. It was a good trend line. 3 candles connected. And again, lots of loss there. We can see we have, of course, two-day candles going down, four days of down movement, completely below the weekly trend line on the 2-day. And, of course, for the last 2.5 days, we've been below it on the half day. You can see all the volume here in that down movement. So what does that tell us to do? Well, of course, you could have pulled this trade anytime this week, taken that great profit. I haven't gone and calculated all. Last time I calculated, it was about 8.5% or so. But it has been beautiful going up. Now, not saying you had to get out. We're not entering a short position at this point. Why? Well, we didn't have super high volume when things peaked. We did have average volume with this doji. We'll see how this next week starts. And if indeed we want to jump into a down move, perhaps no later than the end of the week, or if the market really just digested some of these prior gains, trying to figure out what to do at the beginning of the year, waiting for some good economic news to bound up again, which it may very well do. Not saying it's going to, but it could, and we don't have anything telling us for sure that the market is rolling over. So we're not going to be fools here. What do we see going on in the Qs? Now, the Qs is showing us more. We can see a red down candle here. Again, this second, we started piercing it on the 2-day candle representing Tuesday the 2nd, Wednesday the 3rd of January, and then, of course, plunging on below on that latest 2-day candle that finished drawing today. And, of course, we again have 3 days of down movement, not more than 2.5, 3 days of down movement on that half-day chart. So again, showing weakness here. This has also been very good to us since it rotated over going up. Nice, clean up move for us. So again, closing out your position, not a bad thing. Jumping into a new down position with lack of volume here, I'm not doing. Now, let's move on to where we are with 20-year bonds. And again, remember, we don't give market advice. We're not a stock calling, bond calling, gold calling, or Bitcoin calling service. We are an education firm. We ask you to practice trade with us. Learn by doing. Let's jump into 20-year U.S. government bonds, slacking off also, down for the day almost 1%. And of course, we can see 2-day candle started piercing the weekly trend line on the Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, Thursday, Friday, most definitely below. And of course, you can see the same on the half-day candle with all that volume there. Decent volume here too on the way down. Again, average volume for the week, and look at all what this really tells us. I mean, those of you who studied volume with us, what does it mean when you have all this volume, but you don't have things going up or things going down? It means that what's being sold here is being bought by someone. Is it the insiders selling out to the suckers buying, or are the suckers selling and the insiders are buying? The volume tells us something's happening. The thing that gives us the anomaly is that we don't have any movement when it comes to the candle. We've got pretty much a doji, a spinning top right there, but we can see it's pierced the trend line, right? So we've had it go below. It's not just hovering there. So what would it lead us to believe with the decrease in price? That somebody sure is buying and somebody sure is selling, and there's a war going on between buyers and sellers. As the next week develops, it will tell us who's doing what. Right now, we know there's something happening and we don't know. As we get into the next week, price and volume and trend lines will reveal to us who is doing what the insiders are doing, what the outsiders are doing, and who is winning. Isn't it cool? It is just so fun. I love this. I love the mystery of it. I love solving the mystery. I love the risk aspect to it and minimizing the risk and maximizing the gains. It is so damn much fun. I just can't believe more people don't do it. It is totally fascinating to me. Okay, let's move on to gold. Gold about flat for the day, up 0.02, 0.2%. I call that flat. We can see that on the half-day chart. We're below that weekly trend line. 2-day chart hovering above it. What do we have on the weekly chart? A spinning top. We've talked to you about this potential ceiling. We're holding right there below it, aren't we? Is it going down? We don't know. Is it just sticking up here trying to gain enough energy to blow through? Maybe. It's not done it yet. Is it dying on the vine and moving below? That's interesting. Let me call your attention to something that we track for our Patreon members. And it is under, I believe I've got it under commodities. And it is GWX. Let me see. No, I don't have it under commodities. I've got it under, well, why don't I just put it in? I know what it is. It's gold. It's gold miners. Why can't I remember the gold miners symbol? I've got it right over here. I'm sorry to waste your time here at this, but let me find it. I know I've got it somewhere. There it is. GDX. I just couldn't think of it. Look at GDX. Now look at that. That is a decent-sized candle going down. Those are two-day candles stroking down. Look at all this down movement here. If we look at where gold miners are going, GDX, the three-letter symbol I couldn't remember, and we compare that to where we are with gold itself, you can see that the gold miner shares are really dropping like a hammer compared to where we are. So could that be a tell? Could we use that in the future as a tell? Think about it. Let's see what happens this next week. This is the reason you keep your little trader's journal and you ask those little questions to yourself and you put in there, hey, could GDX be a tell on what's happening on gold itself or vice versa? Why don't we pay attention to that as we go forward in the future? Because my friends, as we like to say in the legal profession, if you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. You won't remember it. That is why you want to keep a little notebook next to you and you want to write these things down, and you learn the most from the trades that hammer you. That's where you really learn your lesson. So don't panic. Look at everything as a learning opportunity. Let's see as we go into this next week if gold rolls over and goes down or gets enough energy to blow through. And again, the gold miner stocks might show us it's getting ready to go down. Not saying that's going to happen, telling you to watch for it. Okay, what's up with Bitcoin? Pulling back a little bit for the day, 0.76%, hovering above the 2-day, on the 2-day chart above the trend line. Same on the half day. We can see lots of indecision at the end of the day on the half day, indecision at the end of the 2-day candle this Friday. You can see it, a green spinning top. And we have a candle, small candle, little bit of wick on the bottom, wick on the top, but again, continuing to just move up that trend line, just continuing to gain a little bit. High for the week, 42 flat. If we go back, we can see that we haven't, that is a new high. So again, Bitcoin just keeps on edging up, just like it did prior here when we got to that small candle, and then it bounded up again. Last year, we'd see it bound up and then move down, bound up and then move down. But again, this latest move has been a good one. That is where we are as we end the day on Friday. So appreciate all of you being with us. You appreciate what we do. Support us as a Patreon member. First thing you'll get at any of the 3 levels is our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. I think it's the best options training that you're going to get on the web. The most practical, that really helps you understand what it's all about. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.